So let's get started. Get right to it. So welcome to the Mindful Dating Attract Love Without Losing Yourself webinar experience. You may be asking this question: why do I keep ending up in the same situation even though I know better? And it's likely that you've joined this webinar for one of three reasons. So the dating process is affecting your physical or mental health and you're feeling hopeless. If I seem distracted a little bit, it's because people are still coming in. So you've likely joined the webinar for one of three reasons. The dating process is affecting your physical or your mental health and you're feeling hopeless. You've noticed that you keep having the same experiences, or you're meeting people who don't align with you. And third, you've noticed that your lack of confidence is a barrier that's stopping you from dating. Now, I know from having some conversations inside of the DMs that some people are having different experiences, but these are likely the top three reasons that most people are joining here. And we can get to that later on inside of the meeting. So today we have a story-driven, excuse me, today we have a story-driven webinar experience to help you understand how to end rejection, ghosting, and repeating patterns so that you can align with your ideal partner and authentic love. I love that because I have some clients that just got into really good relationships. So we'll share stories from folks just like you who've already started their mindful dating journeys and now have healthy, loving, and aligned relationships. So we'll have a mini coaching in the session where you'll share what you're experiencing. I'll give you some advice. It's very surface level. And then I may or may not, suggest that you come to an extended coaching session, but everyone is invited, even if you don't get a personal invitation to me. And then after that, I'll give you 3 tips that you could start today. And if we have time, we'll end with the meditation. So today I have a 10% discount code for everyone who's joined today out of my shop where the mindful dating, immersive, regressive meditations are, and also the journals that accompany them. So I can put that link inside of the chat for you all. And the code is Mary. That's my gift for the holidays. I think it's raining here. Yep, it is. It's raining. Beautiful. I love rain. All right. So there are 2 types of people who come to every webinar. There's the participant. They listen, they interact, they reflect, and then they act immediately. And those folks experience shifts and results in real time. In some cases, they experience them instantly. I had one client, you'll hear about him today, who got his first date. He was asked out on a date as soon as he released, and now he's in a loving relationship. And then other clients of mine have come into relationships in less than 6 months. So there's the watcher. That's the next one, the watcher. So they sit in the back listening, and inside of their heads, they're defending themselves the whole entire webinar. And what they do is they promise themselves to do something, but they end up leaving and adding their healing to the end of the list while continuing to support others in front of their needs. And we call this person the overgiver. So today, a few of you will choose to get started and then become the one who aligns with your ideal partner. And I look forward to working with you. Is someone else is there? It doesn't. No. And remember that this webinar is yours, so please ask any questions that come up for you. So what you're looking at is are quotes from real folks who are just like you, who've started in the mindful dating webinar, and others who've gone on to experience their mindful dating journeys. But these are quotes from folks who were in the webinar. So some of them are now in healthy and energetically aligned relationships with their ideal partners. So take a moment to read through the responses, and when you're ready, you can tell me if any of these statements resonate with you or something that you're experiencing. So anyone find anything that resonates with them? I raise a hand. Emojis. Deb, let's see. I resonate with, I want to be loved without losing myself, and I'm tired of being strong. And Christine, I keep dating the same person with a different face. So who wants to be loved without losing themselves and they're tired of being strong? By a raise of emojis? Christine. Anyone else? Ayush, Deb. And then who keeps dating the same person or having the same relationship experiences with the same type of person, but they have a different name and a different face? Deb, Christine. And is there anyone who's here who's tired of being strong all of the time? Anyone? Yeah. So later in our session, you'll hear about Charlie, like I said. He suffered abuse and abandonment from his parents, and he thought that he was never going to find love. But first, before we get there, we'll talk about the cycle of pain. So when you're dating from survival, you're likely in a cycle of pain. And what happens is your dating patterns are a reflection of what's happening inside of your nervous system. So what happens is you start out by overgiving. And a client of mine said this, maybe if I love them harder, insert the next part. Maybe if I love them harder, they'll see me. Maybe if I love them harder, they'll show up for me. And then what comes next is you start to negotiate your needs for theirs. And that's when you start to self-abandon. So it doesn't matter if you need support. What you end up doing is finding yourself tired and always supporting your partners. And then the anxiety and the resentment kicks in. So you feel relaxed, hopeful, and then what ends up happening is that they leave or they disappear. And then you find yourself either closing your heart or being extra vigilant and saying, never again. I'm not going to do this again. But what ends up happening is the cycle ends up repeating itself again. So who can relate to experiencing this cycle? Kristen, me, Deb, Sembit. I do totally hear you, see you, understand you. Hi, Samantha. We just finished going through the cycle of pain. If you want to take a screenshot really quick, you can look at it later. So I want to make this very clear. You attract what you're aligned with. And so you're probably saying, what does that mean, Shane? The client came to me saying that she was stuck. She wanted a relationship and she didn't think it was possible because she wasn't confident in her finances. And that is a survival pattern that's related to trauma that's seated in the root chakra. I had her start with the root chakra meditation and journal. We had a deep dive session. And after the exercise, she described her pain as self-sabotaging. Imagine that. So she realized that she'd become comfortable with expecting less. How many people have become comfortable with expecting less? And then also expecting things not to work out. Sandbit Connor. That's what I do, Pugsley. So her nervous system started to equate the outcome of a predictable failure with safety. I'll say that again. She started to equate the outcome of predictable failure with safety. She felt safe inside of predictable failure. So her nervous system was working in the background, and that was creating the results that she experienced over and over again. That's why you write something, Kristen. You're starting to expect more. I love that. I love it. I love it. We want to make sure that we are encouraging that. So now that she's aware of the behavior, she's named that behavior, and she's experiencing what's in, then we get to rewrite the story of this deeply ingrained belief pattern. And what happened is she noticed that she has thousands of dollars worth of offers waiting for her to say yes. But for her, failure was safe, so her system wouldn't allow her to register and see those wins. So she had money and resources around her, but because her comfort level was seated or rooted inside of failure, that was what was comfortable for her. She wasn't able to see it. And so now that she's done the healing and been able to see herself as deserving more, she's now able to see that people have been asking her to work with her, asking to show up for her. And now she's able to convert those wins. And so before, when we talked about relationships, she looked really hopeless, disappointed, and unenergized. But now she's lighting up, and she's seeing the potential in her being able to have lasting, loving, healthy, energetically aligned relationships with people she actually likes. So the mindful dating journey is about clearing out the pain so that you can date from a healed and healthy body, a clear mind, and high vibrating energy. So first we start off by healing your energy and releasing the stored trauma that's causing the cycle of pain. And what this does is it opens up space for new possibilities. And how we do that is we put you into a self-led meditation, groups, or a personalized mindful dating journey. And then you learn how to set clear boundaries to protect yourself, your peace, and your heart. We start to teach you how to teach you how to honor them. And this happens in the deep dive consultation, the groups, the personalized mindful dating journey. And next, you start to release the old patterns that have gotten you here by breaking the cycles of learned behavior and survival strategies. So those behaviors that you picked up from your grandparents, your parents, and other folks inside of your community, we start to deconstruct those and create new learning practices. And you can do that through a tailored approach. So 90% of my clients have aligned with love by using this framework. And they have confident, safe, and loving partners. And this is where you go from dating from survival to aligning with love that honors everything you want. So you're no longer performing for love. You're not begging for acceptance. You're aligning with your confidence, with peace, and showing up authentically as yourself. And that's where you find love that aligns with you. My name is Shane Campbell. I'm a published author, international speaker, a lifestyle and relationship architect, a chakra healing specialist, and the creator of the mindful dating journey or mindful dating. So what I do is I guide people through tailored healing modalities so that they can attract love without losing themselves by aligning energy awareness with practical action. I've lived in 6 countries and guided thousands throughout this process. So every session that I'm having with you folks and with my clients proves the same thing. When your energy aligns, you start to find love. I also work with high performance professionals on different levels who know when they're ready to commit and they are expecting and getting the results that they say that they want. Currently, I'm here in Bali, and it is, what time is it? It's 9:47 a.m. in the morning on Friday. So if I say nighttime or daytime, excuse me, it's because I'm alternating between US and Bali. So when it comes to patterns, our energy is rooted in our chakra system. And those are the guiding force that tells us the story of what's happening when we're out of energetic alignment. So each of our chakras governs a portion of our lives, our love lives, all of our lives. And when they're blocked or unbalanced, that is our telltale sign of why we're attracting certain experiences. I'm gonna check the time. Yeah, we're good. So I want to talk. I want you to tell me what it is that you're experiencing, what your ideal relationship feels like or looks like, and then I'll let you know which chakra is likely blocked and some steps that you can take to get your ideal outcome. So we have 1 minute to share. I want to give you 1 minute to share so that we can allow other folks to be able to share. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I turn off my Bluetooth so I'm not connected. So who would like to unmute first and share? And I'll restate the questions. So who wants to tell me what it is that they're experiencing and what is it that you want? Go ahead and unmute.
Okay, I would say that I haven't dated in 9 years because all of the men I attracted before that were all like alcoholics or unavailable men. So I have just taken the past 9 years to work on myself. Plus I was recovering from lung cancer. So I can see it says root chakra is probably the issue I have.
So you were dating guys that had substance abuse issues? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
And then what was your experience inside of that dating like dynamic?
I was doing all the giving. I was being the caretaker. I was enabling, and I wasn't really getting much back. I was doing all the work. Yeah.
Heard. So you were the person that had to show up and be strong for your partners. They weren't strong for you. That is definitely I think it's more of a solar plexus, definitely some stuff in the root chakra, and also the what is it called? The third eye chakra. So the root chakra governs the sense of safety. I hear myself. Let me see. Can you hear me? I'm going to mute you, Deb, because I hear an echo. So when we talk about the root chakra, that's the not feeling safe within inside of yourself. So the effect of those relationships would show up is you not feeling grounded or safe inside of love and relationships. But when it comes down to the solar plexus, that is confidence, right? Like we sometimes get into relationships that we don't feel because we feel like what we really want is not attainable. So we find fixer-uppers, or you will find fixer-uppers and these people who need to be fixed. And then you end up doing that because your confidence is low. Like you don't feel confident in asking for what it is that you truly want, or wanting what it is that you truly want. And then from the third eye perspective, it's like, I'm pretty sure at some point your intuition said, this is not a good fit. Don't do it. Am I right or wrong, Deb?
Very correct. Yes.
Yeah. So those would be the chakras that are unbalanced in this situation. And that would need to be rebalanced for that. So I have another question for you. What would your ideal relationship situation look like?
I would be with a partner who was emotionally available and who was able to give back as well as receive, and that's somebody I felt safe with, and that I trusted.
That's beautiful. And I have one question. So if you were to able to get that outcome, how would that feel?
It would probably be the first time I've ever felt safe in my life.
Wow, that's huge. That's really, really, really huge. And I think it's possible, right? Like we want to definitely heal what interrupted that process of feeling safe. But I definitely recommend if you, and you know, this is just for the general population. If you're on a budget and you want to start now, the self-led meditations with the journals are a great way to start. They start to help you unpack those traumas and then rewire and remap your brain. So Deb, I would suggest getting the root chakra, the solar plexus, and the third eye chakra if you're on a budget. But I would definitely want to invite you to a consultation. It's free, it's 15 minutes. I'm not a consultation, sorry, the coaching call, if you have time. Christine, you have your head up. Thank you so much for sharing, Deb. And wait, before you unmute, Christine, Pugsley, you said you're not sure what I'm saying. Is that because you can't hear, or I'm not speaking clearly? We can wait until he responds, or they respond. I don't know if it's a guy or girl. Christine, you can go ahead and, huh? You unmuted, Pugsley?
I'm not sure what you're I hear clearly, but I'm not sure what you're asking or what you're saying.
Oh, the questions. Okay, let's let Christine speak, and then I'll re-ask the question so you can answer if you choose to. Thanks for clarification. All right, Christine, do you need me to repeat the questions, or you remember?
I think okay, so I was in a 25-year marriage. I left 3 years ago. It was abusive, alcohol abuse, and as well as physical, mental, I would almost say a little narcissism. Yes, and so recently I've been dating again, and what I'm coming across are people who are very intense and passionate and quick to create connections. Yeah, I'm not, and the red flags as well. I'm learning what they actually are. I never knew what they were before, so I got myself into some pretty awful situations, but now I'm being more safe. And yeah, I just went through something. I think he was doing some love bombing, and yeah, I totally fell into that, and it felt good. Yeah, until I was like, wait, this is not good. This is not, and then the red flags. So I'm learning really quickly, but it's been a challenge. Yeah.
And how long have you been actively dating?
18 months.
18 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have taken longer to heal from my marriage.
Mhm.
But I've been doing a lot of work the last 6 months, like really intense, and not as much dating, but just I keep meeting these men and they, want me to be in their lives, but I'm like, I don't think they're good for me. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. So what kind of work are you currently doing?
I'm a retired teacher, but I still work 2 days a week.
When I said work, I got the impression that you were meaning that you were doing like work on yourself in the
Oh,
last 6
sorry.
months.
I get what you're saying.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I'm doing a lot. Neurosomatics, learning
Mhm.
about trauma and releasing trauma.
Mhm.
Radical forgiveness. I'm following that program right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of trauma from my past.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work. Like, right now I'm integrating. Like, there's been a lot.
That's beautiful. I love that you've already created an awareness and you're starting to do the actual work to get there.
Yes.
And that's quite beautiful because sometimes what folks do is they go into these cycles of relationships and dating, and they're like, why me, why me, why me? And I'm keen on, not really keen, that's not a good word, but most people that are coming here is because they become aware that these patterns don't work for them. And so I really applaud your work and your effort to start doing the work. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing. I want to understand what your, let me see what the other question is. What your ideal outcome, what is it that you want in a relationship?
Basically what Deb was saying, I want to feel safe. I want to be able to trust somebody and not be hurt, not be, to be treated kindly and lovingly and respectfully the way I would be treating somebody.
And I have another question. So do you feel like you're clear on that right now, or you need some clarity on what healthy looks like for you?
I think I know what healthy is, and I actually think that I've done enough healing on my nervous system that I'm listening to my intuition better. So I'm
Okay.
like, now I know there's certain things that I'm like, no, I'm not tolerating that ever again. So yeah, one man yelled at me because I wouldn't answer his phone call, and I was like, nobody's going to talk to me like that again. So I cut that off, like, psh, done. So I'm getting my boundaries, learning those types of things. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hearing there's a lot of work in the root chakra. There's a lot of work in the solar plexus as well as the throat chakra, being able to speak up for yourself, and that there's some unpacking there. And in this conversation, I don't know enough about what your particular situation is to recommend anything. I want to be clear there. But I do have one more question, the same one that I gave Christine. If you were to get the outcome that you want, how would that feel? How would that feel for you?
It would feel great. I just feel like I'm smiling right now, just thinking about it. My heart just feels like, oh, that would be so awesome just to like talk to somebody who's not actively trying to manipulate me or get something from me other than just connection and love and support. Yeah. I'm looking into
I would love.
sorry?
What were you going to say? You're looking into
Conscious partnering. Is that what it's called? Conscious
Mhm.
relationships. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
yeah. So you were going to say?
Oh no, I was gonna say it's really beautiful because that's the whole point of this exercise or this kind of coaching session is to get you to a place where you're like, identifying, becoming aware, and then also feeling that somatic feeling of what it feels like to feel safe. So when it does, that's what we do in the mindful dating. We start to unpack what's there and then heal the chakras and then help you to energetically align with that partner. But it starts with feeling it inside of the body. So what it is that you've gotten a twinkle of that somatic feeling of what that outcome would be. Who's next? Who would like to unmute and share? Thank you so much for sharing, Christine.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I'll try and go.
Do you want me to repeat the questions for you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so tell me, I remember we spoke a little bit inside of the chat. Um, I remember we spoke a little bit about your experience. So if you could talk about what it is that you've experienced or you're currently experiencing, and then tell me what it is that you want.
Well, what I've experienced in the past is I completely closed myself off for self-preservation and protection, whether
Mhm.
it's perceived danger or just I get scared of the other shoe's going to drop and I'm going to lose the relationship, and I over try, and I don't communicate well, and some of that comes from early trauma. I lost the love of my life when I was 18 to a drunk driver, and then I spent 25 years as a paramedic seeing death and trauma every day and compartmentalized that in my brain, because I had to go to work the next day, and never really dealt with that as I went along the way. And I've noticed in my relationships that I still compartmentalize, you know, I don't get mad, I don't get angry, you know, you could wreck the car and it's like, yep, you're not hurt, car's totaled, no big deal. But most people would have some type of feeling or some type of being upset about that. I don't. I have sympathy for it, but there's no empathy at all. I don't really care. And that really negatively affects my relationships. And I had a failed marriage, and I was in a 26-year relationship, and about 4 years ago, decided, you know what? We turned into like roommates, maybe at like year 14 or 15. I never really said anything. I never did anything about it. I just left it go at that. And she had trauma where her husband had walked out on her and left her with a 6-year-old son. But I noticed, and then recently, after about a year after the breakup, I decided to try and do dating. And women don't go shopping anymore because everything's done online, and they just pull in and pick up their groceries. So you don't meet anybody at the store. And church, nobody goes to church anymore either, unless they're older people. And
So I'm going to pause you right there because we hit the minute mark.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot inside of your story. I want to recap it, but I do want to ask you one more question before we do that. What is it that you would want inside of a relationship?
I want to be open, trusting, and I have a lot of love to give. I'm always afraid to give it. And then I fell for romantic scams, and the money didn't matter to me, but the self-confidence and the decision making of, am I doing the right thing or am I making a right decision? That's what was hurt me the most when it was stolen.
So I want to reflect on what I'm hearing from your story is that you've had your heart closed, right? Like because of your occupation, you weren't able to really feel and embody what was happening inside of the spaces that you were in, because for that would have been an occupational hazard. So the heart chakra is likely blocked. The other part is the root chakra, feeling safe with other people, emotionally from a vulnerable standpoint, and also safe with inside of yourself. Then the crown chakra, having faith that this is actually possible, that someone could actually love me. And so making relationships that don't necessarily work. The other part is the sacral chakra. I think that there's some imbalance inside of the sacral chakra where there's the desire, so our chakras, they will over rotate like a washing machine that's off balance, or they will kind of move from side to side or move the opposite way. And so I would love to explore more of that sacral chakra passion, desire, because when I hear you saying that you could not be open up to folks from an emotional standpoint, that's heavy numbing, which emphasizes on having less desire than you would if your sacral chakra and your heart chakra were open. And then I also hear the solar plexus with the confidence. So a lot of your chakras are likely blocked, if not all. You would do well to start with the meditations, but I would really love to have a consultation with you, or the extended coaching call. So that would
Okay.
be a great start. Yeah. And then also, before we go from you, if you were to get your ideal outcome, how would that feel for you?
Um, I would love I hate to say it this way, but the fairy tale ending, the happily ever after. And just share everything inside me and give everything inside me.
Yeah, to feel safe with someone that you could share all of your love, your resources, your time, your commitment, all of that. I don't think that that's far-fetched. We'll talk about Charlie later, but he's gotten his fairy tale relationship and another client of mine that I haven't added here, but a few of my clients are currently in their fairy tale relationships. We could push time for one more person to share. So if there's someone else that would like to share, you can go ahead and unmute. We can talk. Has anyone found value in listening to everyone share their experiences? A raise of hands, emojis. Yes. Yes. Deb. So is there anyone who would like to share? And if you don't want to share publicly, you can book a call with me and we'll talk. What chakras you were thinking I should be working on? Christine, we have to talk because there's a lot in your story. There's a lot in the story, and I don't want to. I want to get more information before I have a recommendation. Yeah, I would like to. I think that's the more responsible route to take before we go on. All right. So perfect. So we're at a consensus. No one else wants to share. We keep going. Thumbs up. See everybody. Thumbs up. Okay. Beautiful. So the first act of power is awareness and naming the pain out loud. And so that's the exercise that we've just done. So once you name it clearly, and we want to dig deeper into that, right? Like this is just very surface level, very quick conversations. Then what you can start to do is relate to the pattern instead of confusing it to your worth, right? So you can name what is happening as opposed to like owning that and saying this is how I value my worth. And it's important to remember. I hope that you've all felt heard and seen as best as I can in such a short time, but know that you're not broken. And what's likely happening, kind of like paramedic had said, is you've been carrying someone else's story from trauma from childhood, right? These relationships don't happen in a vacuum. They come from childhood behavior. I mean, childhood trauma, childhood experiences. And so, and it's also possible that you're carrying someone else's story. So what we can do now from here is you can start to explore it, heal it, and then rewrite your story in your own words from what it is that you want. And I want to add this. A lot of times what I find in these sessions is that not only are folks dating from learned behaviors, but they're dating from community and familial expectations. And so one of the things that I noticed, and I'll take a point of personal privilege, the mindful dating journey was constructed by my own personal healing journey. And so all of the tools, the meditations, the consultations, the unblocking sessions, the personalized signature journeys, the group sessions, the workshops were all part of my healing journey. And what I learned in my healing journey was that everything that I liked, from food to colors to people, that was something that my family had told me that I liked when I was a kid. So when I started to heal, I was able to understand that I liked blue because somebody told me that I had to like pink, and it was it was from a place of resistance. And so I said I hated pink because they said as a girl you're supposed to like pink, and that became how I identified what I liked and what I did not like, and that is what a lot of folks are experiencing. So we want to uncover what those agreements were, so that you can heal and start to show up authentically as yourself, not who your family or your community said you should show up as. So we've spoken about the cycle of pain, the cycle of healing, and the blockages inside of the chakra. Let's talk about the cost of doing nothing. So this mother pattern has shown up in a few of our sessions. I get a message where mom says she notices that her child's in an abusive relationship, and she's coming to the webinar to get help for her kid. And it's only to realize that until she heals and gives her child a new blueprint for self-love, healthy relationships, that she will continue to see her child repeat her abusive patterns. And it does not stop until she does something new. She creates a new blueprint. And she can do nothing but watch. So doing nothing and waiting has a painful cost. And when you think that it only affects you, you eventually learn that you've taught your children how to relate, love, to accept this, that this is what love looks like. The good thing is that she's done the workshop, and she just recently started her mindful dating journey, and she's feeling a sense of relief, and her relationships all around with their children, with life, with their family, friends, is working out. And she was one of the folks that said, I don't want to date anymore. And now she's getting advances from really beautiful people. So I promised to talk to you about Charlie. So Charlie came in and he was experiencing fear of abandonment. Well, the story is from fear of abandonment to aligned love. Charlie joined the mindful dating workshop, and this is a little bit of how it went. So in the beginning, he explained that he grew up with abuse, abandonment, and rejection. And his quote was, I think my fear is abandonment. I used to feel like I wasn't worthy of love, that I'd always be alone. And that's what type of relationships Charlie attracted. And then he had a realization after doing the work in the mindful dating workshop. And he said, now I have that for myself. I love myself. I don't need external validation. I can just come as I am. So he was able to embody confidence and show up as he is. And now Charlie wrote me this message. Every time I post something about the workshops, he writes on them. And he says, after the mindful dating workshop, I actually found a girl that I've been holding out for, with all of my needs met, as the base of how she shows love. 10 out of 10 would recommend this. So after years of dormancy in his relationships, Charlie attended the workshop and immediately had his final release. And by immediately, I mean, as soon as he said his last words in that session, he got a message was someone asking him out on a date. And it was something that he never knew that he needed to experience. He'd never been asked out on a date. And now he's in a loving relationship with his partner and super happy. So we have 5 promises that you'll have as outcomes when you start your mindful dating journey. That's better relationships. So feeling emotionally safe within yourself is the first step, and also in dating. More clarity and confidence. You become clear on who you are, what you want, and your dating starts to mirror that. Better intimacy. Because you're clear, you feel safe in yourself and you're communicating your needs, your wants, your desires. You begin to align with folks who match that energy, the energy that you're putting out. And then you're able to show up as your authentic self. So you finally feel loved and appreciated for who you are. And that takes intimacy to amazing level. And then you start to finally experience what it truly feels like to be at peace inside of yourself and it also in love. So imagine that, being able to experience feeling peace inside of yourself and in love. See the hearts, down, Christine, that. So I want to give you 3 steps that you can start today that will start to create shifts. So, and they're not big shifts, but they shouldn't be they shouldn't be undervalued. So you can take a screenshot while I go through them. Journaling. So I want you to write down 3 qualities that you bring into a relationship. What you give to earn love, and then what you naturally embody. And then I want you to unplug. So take 30 minutes of complete silence. No phone, no music, no distractions, and just you and your breath. Maybe sip a cup of tea and look out the window, just be present with the tea, but allow yourself to be present inside of yourself, your body, and with your breath. And then this is the clarity exercise. So ask yourself, what do I want to feel in my next relationship? We did a portion of that today with the folks who shared their stories. So write that answer down, but make sure you keep the distinction of not what it is that you want them to do for you, but we want to connect with how you want to feel. And Christine was able to embody that in today's exercise. I want to get Deb and the paramedic there and everyone else who's interested to get inside of that experience. So here are some outcomes that you could look forward to experiencing when working with me. Instead of settling, you begin to choose peace. And once you've healed, you show up authentically as yourself, and now you're attracting partners who align with you. And then after letting go of people pleasing, you begin to become clear in who you are, what you want. You start to feel quiet peace and confidence in knowing that your ideal partner will love you for who you are. They will be safe. They'll show up authentically as themselves. They'll be a match. And you'll be able to love confidently. So these are the shifts that you can look forward to. So this is the point. Excuse me. Here's a point where you choose your path of transformation today. So option 1 is to work with me. For a limited time, I'm offering complimentary 15-minute extended coaching sessions where I'll mostly do a lot of listening to what's happening in your life. I'll give you clear steps on what you can do next to reach your goals in love. And then option 2 is starting your self-led journey now. And here you don't have to meet with me. You can start your transformation as soon as today. You can begin with the chakra meditation and journal that I recommended to you. And if you didn't get a recommendation, I would strongly suggest starting with Ruby's Room. So I created the self-led journey for folks who want results but can't afford to work with me individually. And I do want to note that my client list is currently full until between mid to late January. So I'm offering 2 additional free 15-minute coaching sessions when you purchase the meditation bundles until space opens up to work with me. So I'm not abandoning everyone. I'm giving you access to me on a 15-minute coaching call basis, or we'll still work through what comes up for you in the meditations. Any questions? Does that sound fair? Perfect. Perfect. Amazing, Christine. So here are my announcements. Send it. Yay. Here are my announcements. Okay, so today you're invited to join the wait list for our exclusive group experiences. I've been doing some work, guys and girls. I've been doing a lot of work. So we'll be having workshops and psychoeducational groups, mindful dating retreats in Bali, Tulum. We've recently unlocked North Carolina and Florida in the US. For my Canadian peeps, I'm looking into going to Canada. I want to do something in Canada for sure. There will be 10-day retreats with the signature mindful dating journey and in this 3-night, 3-day mindful dating Luxe Mastermind getaway. I love it. It's a mastermind Luxe getaway with a mindful dating mastermind dinner experience at the highlight of it. We're gonna have that dinner. It's gonna be really beautiful, 7 courses, a beautiful conversation. We're gonna have it on a golf course, so we're gonna do some activities for conversation, mindful dating with the golf courses. I want to tell you about it because I'm doing it right now, and then also we're gonna have a tea and brunch where we'll have the effervescent, the smoky ice with the drinks and the beautiful display for brunch on that Sunday. And on the reception, we'll have a beautiful reception where folks can get some food or nibbles, but really beautifully displayed workshops, yoga, breath work, all of it in this 3-day experience. And I'm looking forward to that one being really beautiful. We'll also be hosting individual mindful dating mastermind dinner experiences in Bali, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, or the UAE. And so I want you to, I'm going to give you the link to join the wait list for those if you're interested. Oh, Deb, I see you have a comment here. I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't see it. So there's the link to that. I was watching my daughter repeat my abusive pattern too. Yeah, it totally happens. You know, it's likely you're repeating your parents' abusive patterns, and that's why a lot of folks are here. So we'll get to that. I want to definitely look forward to having a call with you, Deb. Any questions about the announcements? We have like 5 minutes left. Okay. I think we did good with time today. Let's go. All right. So here's where we do our closing meditation and our affirmations. I want you to notice where your feet are and aligning the sit bones. Maybe taking a deep inhalation in through the nose, filling the belly up. And as you exhale, relaxing where you're seated or laying. And do that 2 more times. Maybe breathing in deeply. And on this exhale, opening the mouth and sighing it out. Let something go. Again, deep inhalation in through the nose, filling the belly, filling the chest, the shoulders. And deep exhalation, letting something go. Nobody can hear you. You're in the safety of your home. And now allow the breath to come to a normal or natural pace. And noticing it coming in and out of the body. And while we're here, I want you to say this affirmation inside of your head or out loud. I deserve to have safe and loving relationships. And notice what comes up for you as you embody this with your breath. I deserve to have safe and loving relationships. Last time. I deserve to have safe and loving relationships. And allow the body to feel how it feels without judgment. And remembering that you deserve to have safe and loving relationships. You can come back into the space. So again, I want to invite you, if you need the links, if you weren't able to get the links, send me a DM so that I can send them to you. But if you're ready to transform your relationship patterns and attract love that feels authentic and aligned, I'd love to have a conversation with you on an extended coaching call. And let's see when you have time or what time is available on my calendar. But I would love to see how it looks for you to align with your love, your ideal love. If you all have any questions, we have about 2 more minutes. You can go ahead and unmute if you like, or I will be back 2 minutes of your time.
Shane?